Three prisoners have been charged with the murder of child killer found dead in his cell at HMP Wakefield. Now, Kyle Bevan's 33, who I done a video on yesterday, who is a despicable, horrible coward of a man. Well, was, past tense because he is no longer here. Now, he was jailed for life for murdering his partner's 2-year-old daughter, Lola James, who had suffered 101 separate injuries to her body, including a catastrophic brain injury. Now, this was an absolutely appalling crime, and this sick individual met his karma inside of HMP Wakefield. Now, in the video that I've done previously, I'll not go over it again, but I will link it at the end. And in that video, I talk about when he got murdered, because it does say in the press Wednesday morning, but obviously I got some inside info. It actually happened on the Tuesday night. The three prisoners were in his cell with him, and then after they had murdered him, I forgot to say this at the beginning of the video yesterday, I did say it at the end if you watched it till the end, that when they murdered him on Tuesday night, they then put him into bed, had his arm out of the blanket so it looked like he was asleep in bed, so when the screws looked through the flap down the night checks, they could see him lying there, they could see his arm, so they could tell it wasn't just a blanket stuffed up so making it look like someone. It actually looked like he was asleep, which he was, and he was never waking up again, which is prison justice and karma. Now, the three inmates that have been charged with the murder is Mark Fellows, who the majority might know. If you've been watching my channel for a while, I've done videos on him previously. He is also known as the Iceman. He is 45-year-old. Lee Newell, who is 56, who is also Mark Fellows and Lee Newell. I've done a video on Lee Newell previously as well. I will go into a little bit about who they are soon. But Lee Newell and Mark Fellows are both serving life without parole, meaning they will never be released again. So they have nothing to lose, but more bodies to gain. And that is exactly what they done. And David Taylor, who is 63, they have all been charged with the murder, and they are due to appear at Leeds Magistrates Court later today. But that will be through video link from inside of HMP Wakefield, because they will all be down in the segregation department or the segregation unit, and they will not be going to court. It'll be done via video link. So like I've said, these individuals have got nothing to lose. David Taylor, I've tried to do a bit of research on him to find out the sentence that he is actually doing. I do believe he's in jail for murder, because the last I could see, he was charged with murdering a 20-odd-year-old lady. Then he was transferred, he was getting kept down at Strangeways. Then he ended up back in HMP Franklin, and I also done a video on him. So all of these three individuals I've done videos on previously, and David Taylor, the video I'd done on him was because he stabbed a police officer on a legal visit inside of HMP Franklin. They were coming up to question him on a certain crime, and when the officer sat down in front of him, he had a makeshift blade or makeshift plastic thing, and he stabbed the CID fella, stabbed him up. He obviously got charged with attempted murder. But I've been trying to look into that to see what he got, but I can't find anything. So that case, I believe, probably is still open. But I will dig a little bit further into it when I've got a bit more time, because I'll be doing a lot more on these individuals and about the murder. But like I say, in the last video, which has had a massive amount of views overnight, everyone has agreed that he is no loss at all, Kyle Bevan, for what he done to that poor defenceless Lola James. May that little soul rest in peace. Absolutely horrific what he done. And Mark Fellows has already got a couple of murders under his belt, which are massive murders, gangland murders against two individuals who were well known in the underworld scene. More so Paul Massey. He was well known and respected throughout the prison system. And I'm just going to go into Mark Fellows now to let the new subscribers know exactly who he is, because a lot of you will not know who he is, and you'll be interested to find out what type of individual he is. So Mark Fellows, nicknamed the Iceman, was born the 5th of September 1980, an English hitman convicted of the murders of John Kinsella and Paul Massey, rival and enforcers to the anti-A-team criminal network. At the time of his conviction, he was one of only 70 prisoners sentenced to a whole life term. Now, anyone who's not familiar with the underworld scene, this was down in Salford, rival enforcers of the anti-A team, because Paul Massey and certain individuals had their own crew and they were called the A team. Then you had Mark Fellows, who was on the opposition, and his was called the anti-A team. So Paul Massey, on the 26th of July 2015, was shot dead outside his home in Manchester Road, Clifton, by a lone gunman. The killer was reported to have been wearing military-style fatigues and carried a weapon similar to a submachine gun. Greater Manchester Police offered a £50,000 reward for information pertaining to the killing. John Kinsella was shot dead on 5th of May 2018 near St Helens Linkway in Rainhill as he walked with his pregnant partner, Wendy Owen. The killers used encrypted EncroChat handsets to coordinate the murder. The trial lasted 8 weeks with heavily armed police officers in attendance. His fellow criminal Stephen Boyle was also on trial. Boyle was described as Fellows' brothers-in-arms and accused of acting as a spotter, watching the victims and providing assistance to the gunman. During the trial, evidence from a Garmin fitness watch with a GPS function found in Fellows' house was used to show that he had travelled from his home to a field opposite Massey's home. So that was ultimately how he got convicted. The same as one of these, a Garmin watch which has GPS logged inside of it. That was how the only reason he got convicted, because he had that watch on, wanting to fucking obviously see how many steps he'd done that day, not knowing that that ultimately was going to lead to his conviction. So Fellows was found guilty of the murders of both Massey and Kinsella, but found not guilty of the attempted murder of Owen. Mr. Justice William Davis sentenced him to a whole life term, meaning he will never be released from prison. Boyle was convicted of the murder of Kinsella, but cleared of the murder of Massey and the attempted murder of Owen. So as you can imagine, he's in prison serving life without parole. Paul Massey is well known throughout the system, he is more well known than Fellows and more respected. And like I say, when I was in prison in Franklin, HMP Franklin myself, his name was around then. He had a lot of respect. Those fellas were still in prison when Fellows was due in. So as you can imagine, someone was going to get a hold of him. So in February 2019, Fellows was seriously injured when he was slashed by another prisoner with a weapon believed to have been made from a razor blade. He was attacked in HMP Whitemore and airlifted to hospital. So it was definitely a nasty gash. Airlifted to hospital. That's after that attack, he was sent up to HMP Wakefield. It does say that he appealed the sentence, but in July 2019, the appeal was turned down. So he will be getting another life sentence, because that's what happens if he's convicted on this murder, which I'm assuming he will, because they're all on camera. All three of them will be convicted because they're on camera going in the cell. They've come out and he's dead. So he will get another life sentence, but it'll not make no difference whatsoever. The only punishment he'll get really is the fact that he'll be in the units for a long time. He'll be in segregation with the seg block for a very long time. Then they'll keep him on the units, a bit like Maudsley. They'll not have him in the same conditions, but that is what will happen to him. So the other fella, or if that's what you want to call him, because he's a bit of a not a very nice lad, to be honest, fella, for what he done, which I'm going to go into. The only good deed he's done, this is his second murder inside a prison, ending the life of a child killer. So double killer Lee Newell sues over attack by fellow inmate. I'll get into that in a minute. But Lee Newell was in prison serving a life sentence. Here we go. He committed his first murder in 2013 for murdering his neighbour, 56-year-old. Sorry, let's go back to this. Newell is serving a whole life term for the murder of child killer Subhan Anwar. This was the video that I've done previously at HMP Long Lartin in Worcestershire, which he committed in 2013. This was while he was serving life for murdering his neighbour, 56-year-old Mary Neal in Norwich in 1998. So that was some 27 years ago. He's now 56, so he was in his 20s when he's killed his 56-year-old neighbour. This will be the reason why he's in Wakefield, in a Bacon prison, because someone like that, which are classed as a young lad in his 20s, has killed a 56-year-old woman. She's nearly an OAP. He's classed as a Bacon. I'm not sure the reasons why he done it, but in the video I did go into it more. But Subhan Anwar was a dirty, horrible piece of work. He killed his girlfriend's baby as well. And him and another inmate took him in apart, tortured him, took his life. That was why he was given life without parole. So he's got nothing to lose. But another video that I'd done on him was talking about when Gary Vinter, another prisoner who was serving life without parole, these two were together on the exercise yard in HMP Woodhill in Milton Keynes in 2014 when Gary Vinter wanted to be moved to another prison. He wanted to be moved to a prison that had better gym facilities, and he thought the only way that he's going to get it is by doing this piece of work in. So Vinter stamped up and down on him, pulverised him. I've done the video on this. In the exercise yard, he's battered him. Vinter is about 6'8", 6'9", about 20 odd stone, massive bloke. Another wrong'un as well, horrible piece of work. Not very well liked in the prison system. He'll do anyone for a little bit of weed or a little bit of spizzle. He's an absolute rat. But Vinter come head to head with him, and two wrongs make a right, because these wrong'uns always get each other. And he's stamped all over his head, but I mean stamped up and down. He stamped on him that hard, he gave him brain damage and popped his eye out. He actually lost his eye. And this is what it's saying in this article that I've got up here now, that he's actually suing the prison, saying that they should have protected him. And he said he should be awarded damages between 68 and 111 grand. I do believe he got a substantial amount of money. I'm not sure exactly what it was, but he did get a lot of money for that attack, because like he says, he sued the system. But it says he's originally from Norwich, had a fractured skull, severe brain injury after the attack. So I'd imagine the brain damage isn't, well, he can't be that bad if he's going on to do what he's doing. But again, he's another wronger. But Vinter, like I've mentioned previously, he done the same thing to Roy Whiten. Jumped up and down on his head. I'm sure he took his eye out as well with a bog brush. I've done videos on that one as well. That was also in HMP Wakefield. But the good thing about all of these is all these wrong'uns are taking out wrong'uns of just prison justice at its finest. Wrong'uns doing wrong'uns. Two wrongs making a right. So the other fella, who is David Taylor, is from Willington in County Durham. He is 63-year-old. He was 62, obviously, last year when he committed the attempted murder against the prison officer. And I'm assuming that's still ongoing because I can't find any closures on that. But it did say that he was arrested and charged with the murder of a 25-year-old woman who went missing, and her body had never been seen, but she was seen in his car up near Bishop Auckland in County Durham. So that's as much as I know on David Charlton, but there you go. 3 very dangerous men. David Taylor trying to kill a police officer on a visit. Another 2 serving life without parole who are never getting out of prison. Now, when I've done the video a week or 2 back listing who is next, it is now a free-for-all. It is bacon basher season. That's why I've got my little bacon basher piglet out. So I should have that on the desk, but you cannot really see. But I'll just keep the little fella there. Every time a bacon gets bashed, I'll bring him out. But when I mentioned in that video, I mentioned 5 high-profile bacons who are on the list. And Huntley is asking for extra protection inside of HMP Franklin because he knows his time is coming. But there is a whole lot more of these bacons because Kyle Bevan isn't as well known as the likes of Huntley, Cousins, Belfield, that type, Roy Whiting, all these worst of the worst. You've got the loads more that have gone unnoticed. And I will be doing more videos. I'm going to do another list as well. And we'll see if Betfred or anyone like that wants to start taking bets on which bacon is going to be next. Get your money out, people. Who do you think it's going to be? It could be any one of them. But I tell you what, they're all petrified and shitting themselves inside the high security prison, which gives all us lot back at home sitting, watching, waiting for the news coming in that these bacons are petrified and they're getting a bit of their own treatment inside of prison because we don't want them having a cushy time living amongst other bacons protected on a VP wing. There's loads of normal location lads mixed in with these bacons and they're just waiting for their time. Some of them are serving life without parole, like these prisoners here who have got nothing to lose. But what has a man got to gain inside of prison when he's serving life without parole? Somebody that hates bacons, what has he got to gain? He's got to gain notoriety and a body under his belt, another one, another bacon under the belt. So that is the way that I'm looking at it. And that is the way some of these prisoners will be thinking. They'll be thinking, I want a little bit of notoriety. I've done bad deeds in the past. I'm inside for killing an innocent person or innocent people. I'm never getting out. I might as well do some community service by taking these bacons to the grave. But I will be keeping you updated. You will hear the news on here first. Behind the Bars TV gets all the info from inside the prisons. I've got a list of inside informants, not informants, but people that are working in the prisons, lads that are in the prisons, that I'm in touch with on a weekly basis, that are keeping me updated, and I will be bringing you the news firsthand on this channel. So keep watching, people. There's loads more to come. Hopefully you have a good weekend. Stay safe. And if you are still enjoying the content, remember to comment, like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss another video. Stay safe, people. Enjoy your weekend.